Joining me now to discuss the Kenyan economy further is John Mukum Mbaku. He's a Brady Presidential Distinguished Professor of Economics at Weber State University in Utah. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's start with the importance of the meeting. What would you say are the most tangible outcomes?
Well, I think the most important outcome of this meeting is that the President of Kenya was able to secure U.S. investment for his country, which I think is very important in that in addition to American businesses bringing financial capital to Kenya, the U.S. businesses would also bring access to the type of technology that Kenya needs to be able to improve its manufacturing sector and other sectors of the economy so that it can become globally competitive, which is what the President of Kenya is interested in. And I think that with increased investment by U.S. companies in Kenya, Kenyan businesses will also be able to acquire expertise to improve their manufacturing capacity and also be able to tap into some value chains that American businesses have, and that should provide Kenya with an opportunity to trade more with the U.S., not only in terms of imports, but also in terms of exports, making Kenya an important hub for business in Africa.
Now, Professor, let's also look at the tensions that we've seen with AGOA. And we already saw the impact of Rwanda's decision to stop having second-hand clothing imported. Where do you see the future of trade relations with the U.S.?
I think that for Kenya, Kenya has made the right decision in that it pulled out of the ban against the importation of U.S. Used clothing goods. By doing so, Kenya has an opportunity to be able to tap into the U.S. market. My only fear is that after AGOA expires in 2023, Kenya might have a problem in that it may not be ready to be able to access the U.S. market without the help of some kind of AGOA. So I'm hoping that President Kenyatta was able to convince the Trump administration to expand AGOA so that it can go beyond 2023. But I think that Kenya is going the right direction by relying more on trade and investment than foreign aid to make its economy more competitive globally.
And we've certainly seen China step up its role in terms of infrastructure spending in Kenya and on the continent. How do you see China's role in Kenya?
I think China is playing a very important role in Kenya in that it's helping the country develop its infrastructure. But I still see that there is an important opportunity for the U.S. not only to react to what China is doing, but also to help Kenyans develop the kinds of technologies that can only be provided by the U.S. Most of the Chinese projects in Kenya are what might be considered turnkey projects in that the Chinese come in and they construct infrastructure and then they leave. But investment from the U.S. would provide opportunities for Kenyan businesses to tap into U.S. technology and develop the skills that they need to be able to become competitive globally. So yes, there is a role for China to play in helping Kenya develop infrastructure. But I think that the U.S. can do a much better job of helping Kenya develop the new technologies that they need.
Now, obviously, Kenya has some very enviable growth projections. What is driving that strong growth?
There are several things. Number one, Kenya has a very young population, and Kenya has done a very good job of introducing universities in rural areas. So if that new population is educated, and this is what Kenya is relying on, if it's educated and develop the skills, that would contribute significantly to the growth projections that Kenya is having. The second point is that Kenya has a very robust private sector, one of the best private sectors in Africa. And that private sector is very innovative, is very aggressive, and I think it will help Kenya's growth projects. The third point is that Kenya is developing a very robust financial sector, one that is relying a lot on the new technology, and through some of the improvements that Kenya has had recently, it's been able to take financing to the rural areas, and I think that is also an area that is going to make Kenya meet those growth projections.
All right, thank you so much. John Mukum Mbaku, Brady Presidential Distinguished Professor of Economics at Weber State University.